first thing we were on together was Kimono GN, I think. Right? Yeah, because he is Shiki, one of the main characters. And the director brought me in to voice the young version of him, which I didn't necessarily need to talk to him about because I know his voice. So I'm like, I'll just follow how he sounds. Yeah, no, we'll, like a lot of times, like, Beyblade's the one that we've been recording for a while, and so I'll come back from a session, it's like, oh, how was work, honey? And I'm like, oh yeah, no, Multi did this and that, and Jackson did this. Yeah, Jackson's having a crisis, and so we'll kind of like discuss like what happens or whatever. But yeah, sorry, what was the other part of your question?
Oh, like make our own show? Yeah. Oh, what show would we choose where we're two main characters? She's saying without getting in trouble. Oh, this is impossible, so I'll say this. If we could somehow go back in time and I could be Ichigo in Bleach and you could be Rukia, I think that'd be really cool.
That would be cool. We love Ichigo.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mess up anyway. Do you have one that you think?
Kimi ni Todoroki, that's like my favorite shoujo. It's so cute. So that would have been really cool to do.
Yeah, we still haven't played love interest in the show yet, so I want that to happen. We played brother and sister.
Or the younger version, or older version.
Or yeah, I played the older version of her character in 2 Year Eternity. I don't know what it is, but they're just like, oh, they'd be perfect as siblings. Very weird. Yeah. So I just want to actually, I don't want to like each other in not a weird way. You, and then I got you here with the horns. After, yeah, I'm gonna do that one first.
Specifically for Dandadan, like how close, like how late into production do you guys start dubbing it, and like how far is that from the release date of the episodes?
Okay, for season 1, because I can't speak on season 2, but for season 1 we started in August, and it aired in October. So we got, I think we still had, I think by episode 4 we had finished recording everything. But we were pretty far ahead. Netflix in general, because they're their whole like, we release everything at the same time. All the episodes, watch it now. That counts for all their audio. But I think more recently they've realized it's not really a smart business decision promotionally for anime, really for anything, but for anime. Excuse me, it's good to like weekly because everyone can talk about it and the hype doesn't die after 3 days. But because of the way they do things, they usually get the material like in advance. Thank you. And so we get started a lot earlier. So it's possible for us to do the same day, the simul-dubs, which are really cool because then people could be like, what do they do in Japanese? Oh, what do they do in English? And then you can make a decision on what you prefer. So we started really early on season 1. I can't speak on season 2, but yeah. And then you, I think, was next.
I was wondering if tradition, because a lot of the scenes are very much like back and forth to the different you had, and recording sessions that were done with classes together, or was it all like back of line on the session?
Yeah, so because of how meticulous anime is, Matthew lip flaps, you were short, can you go longer? You were too long that time, split the difference, right? That sort of stuff on top of like just character, just acting notes that the director has. It can be a really slow experience to record, depending. So having a bunch of actors together, sharing a scene, having to keep track of everyone. AJ, you were too short, and Anairis, you were a little too long. Matt, shouldn't. Maybe you got it, but can you do this a little bit? It would just take too much time. So generally, for everything voiceover related, we record one at a time. Back in the day, they used to have like group records more often, especially for bigger projects, and sometimes they still do. But I've been voiceovering since 2020. I've been voicing the over since 2020, and I've only done 2 group records in my career. One was for Pokemon Path to the Peak, and the other one was for a Nickelodeon pilot that never came out. So that's it. Yeah. So no. But there have been moments when like other people record first, and when other people record first when we're doing anime, they won't play the Japanese, they'll play the English, so you can hear the other person.
Right over here in the corner.
Hi. You both mentioned like being neurodivergent and neurospicy. Have you ever headcanoned any of the characters you voiced as like neurodivergent, like kind of put yourself into those characters?
I think, thank you. I think the biggest, I think literally after my first session as Lynette, I had a break, and I went up to AJ and I was like, she's autistic. And like, it's, like obviously like it wasn't like creator intention, but like as they were describing the character to me and like saying that she's averse to certain things and all that stuff, I'm like, she's autistic. Look at this little autistic baby, I love her. That's probably like the most major one for me, but honestly, yeah, Mirko's probably got crazy ADHD.
I only recently was diagnosed with ADHD. I just thought I was really quirky as a kid. I don't know if I necessarily like, there's things now that I'm like doing more research on like neurodivergency and everything like that. I'm like, I can see how these things, you know, show up in characters and stuff like that. And it can inform you, especially like if you do have autism or things like this, then, you know, there are certain traits that characters have. You can be like, oh, I know what this is like. I think I can understand this character a little bit more. So, yes.
Can I give one of your characters?
Sure.
Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
Jackson is for sure on the spectrum. He hyperfixates like crazy. And then he got so depressed.
Yeah, there's a bunch of characters I'm just like, you could be. We can't officially say a character is or isn't,
We have our
but we have our headcanons for sure.
Also, to end that question, I think someone said on Twitter recently that that kudere characters are just autistic. Kudere are like, they're the monotone characters and they're really quiet. And somebody said that and I was like, I'm crying, they are. That's literally just all kuderes.
I like your ears.
So, question here, you mentioned, you were talking about how long you guys have to like sentences. You said persona as an example.
Oh. I'm in Bleach. But, no, I'm not in Persona. But we did take a class with PCD who was the one that worked on Persona 3 Reload and everything. And like when they were teaching us these things, they were like, this is what we do. But I don't.
Also, just in general, like, production is pretty similar across the board. Like when we work on JRPGs, like for the most part, it's all going to be the same process. Like if there's any variations, it's because of studio practice. But like, you know, I've worked on several JRPGs, so I can definitely imagine how it would be to record on a Kingdom Hearts or a Persona or whatever. So yeah, and also we have friends trying to catch us.
Yeah. I mean, shoot. Put me in Persona 6 for whatever you want. I would love to be Persona. Yes, Okarun?
Do you believe in ghosts?
No. I don't. I think it's ridiculous. However, aliens.
And that's his genuine response because he only wants to watch space things or like or you want to watch documentaries, but you're not interested in any of my supernatural horror stuff. I'm the one who likes the ghosts and all that stuff. Yeah, you are a baby.
Okay, you want to pick one? We have about 10 minutes left, so we're going to try to answer a little bit quicker.
Musical.
Hi. What is your favorite line that you've done from any of your shows?
Bitch.
There it is! There it is!
What's up,
Doc?
That one, Mirko.
Sorry for breaking your ears. Sorry, it wasn't my great hair.
Any other questions? Questions? You, and then you. I'm sorry.
A show that's very near and dear to my heart is Wonder Egg Priority.
I love Wonder Egg.
Yeah, in it you were Rita.
Yes.
It has a lot of things happening. Why am I saying?
Yeah.
So, I was wondering, can it be like emotionally taxing to like tap into that part of yourself when you form those kind of scenes?
Yeah, a lot of the things that she went through very much resonated with or the things I went through when I was a teenager. And I guess to avoid content warning, trigger warning stuff, I won't go into, but and yeah, it was tough. I remember the scene where she was, they were in the cafeteria, the girls were all in the cafeteria, and Reiko was, complaining about her mom. And she's like, man, she never listens to me on blah, and she sucks. And the other girls are like, well, you shouldn't talk about your mom like that. And she was kind of had this moment where she was defensive, and you could see the mommy problems shining through. And but we did that little monologue she had a few times, and I remember I almost choked up because I too have mommy issues. So yeah, it is emotionally taxing, but also therapeutic in a way, because you work through things you don't think about, and you get to explore it in a fantasy setting. It's great.
I just picked on yes, you, yes.
Yeah, I want
Sorry for saying that weirdly.
to ask about pretty quick place I don't want to be in Nashville.
We love. Sorry, any particular question?
Yeah, just what is your experience working on that, and do you think there's going to be more of it?
I hope that there is more of it. Fingers crossed. But it was very fun. I already mentioned I have very humble beginnings doing indie stuff. So when Kiana approached me to voice Aika, I was very enthusiastic. And yeah, working with Kiana was great. Mary Ev Harrington, who voices Tilly in Big City Greens, was our director. And it was a very fun session. Kiana very much knows what she wants, so it's very easy to perform for her, and she gave a lot of room to play. So normally for first sessions on things, I'm a little bit more oh, I'm just gonna do the script, I'm not really gonna play much, but I actually felt comfortable enough to play, and that's how we had all those extra takes that Kiana posted on YouTube. But yeah, it was very fun, and I very much enjoyed it, and I hope we can do it again.
I'm not in that.
Yes. How do you consider and channel a character's flaws into any of your performances?
How do we?
Yeah. What's your thought process?
Well, you get into the deepest, darkest places within yourself, and you just, it's hard. It's hard because it can be vulnerable. The more vulnerable you are, the more people can hear it, though, so the better the performance, right?
So please cry.
Yes. I think acting, really any creative medium, but especially acting, voice acting, because we don't have our faces to rely on, our body movements, you have to convey everything through our voices. So Okaroon, when he's having his big monologue in the first episode, where he's take whatever you want. All I ever wanted was to be an alien, and he goes kind of off for a second. That kind of hit. That didn't hit because I know I've met aliens before. I haven't. But what I connected to in that scene was kind of just the idea of him being man, he's been bullied his whole life. And what I always tell people is if you've been told a thing enough by enough people, you start to believe it, regardless of if it's true or not. You're getting spitballs spat at him and stuff thrown at him. No one appreciates him as a person, at least not at his school, and they all bully him. So he's kind of accepted the fact that he's a loser. That's the part he plays in his life, is I'm a loser and I don't deserve friends. There's no point in even trying, right? But then Momo comes around and she kind of squashes that whole ideal almost instantly just by sticking up for him for 0.2 seconds, right? Enough for him to go on this little goose chase with her. And but he was really angry at the aliens because he did believe in them. He was like, my headcanon, not official, is that like, the reason why he latched on to aliens so much is because they could be there or they couldn't be. No one could tell him they aren't, right? It's kind of like his deity in a way, his God, it's his thing. And then they're like, oh, we were here. And for him, he's like, wait, you were here and you didn't help me this whole time? I called out to you and you didn't help me. And now you're trying to hurt the person that did. And like being able to connect with that part of him that was just like, oh, no one, like being bullied and stuff like that. That's kind of how I got there. And a lot of people really ended up liking that scene. It was great. For me, I was in tears almost in the booth doing that. But those are the moments that like really define, I feel like, your career. And the more you can do that as an actor, I think the better an actor you are. Because all acting is just being yourself in the most vulnerable way possible through different characters. So, yeah.
We have time for maybe one or two more questions. So, you want to choose, babe?
Oh, I've been choosing so much. You choose, please.
I'm like forgetting who's gone and who hasn't.
Has anyone, can everybody who has already asked a question put their hand down? Is that everyone?
Okay, cool. Gigi.
Hello, yes. Thank you. I'm very curious, for both of you really, do you have any particular dub VA performances from other people that either you consider a favorite or particularly impactful, especially if it's, let's say, an industry veteran like Johnny Young Bosch, Christopher Freeman, or Bailey, or Michelle Robb?
Yeah.
Something you saw that really like.
Yeah, there's a couple. Miley Flanagan as Naruto, I feel like, is like incredibly underrated. She's incredible. The emotion that she's able to convey in each line is kind of the reason why I discovered anime and followed anime in the first place, is her performance. I connected really closely with Naruto as a character. Other than that, I don't know about specific performances, while there is some amazing ones out there, but like actors themselves, Troy Baker is a big one for me. I didn't go to acting school, right? I just got obsessed, so I went on YouTube and then I listened to like performances, walkthroughs of video games and stuff like that. And I saw The Last of Us and, you know, Bioshock Infinite and stuff like that. I taught myself by copying. And Laura Bailey is amazing, and do you have any?
If we're talking about a specific performance, I mean, anything Jeremy Lay does is, she's, yeah, in the best way. We were watching Makia, and she voices like a side character in that. And there's a scene, I mean, all of it was really good, but there's a scene like where she's like going up to the mirror and it's very like emotional, and yeah, Jeremy's a beast. I love Jeremy. I think she did a great job on Makia. She did a great job in Bleach, 1,000 Year Blood War. Like, really great job. Yeah, but also Laura Bailey and all them.
The way we describe it is if you can make anime dubbing as stilted as it is sound like Brile, then you're a beast. It's hard. And Jeremy does that like every time. Johnny is amazing, Johnny and Bosch as well. There's a few people where it's just like every single time I'm just like, all right, we get it, you know? But yeah, do we have time for one more maybe? One quick one. You, yes.
So this is probably going to be the most basic question I asked that day. Like, who inspired you to get to where you are today, for the both of you? Who are your biggest inspirations?
Voice acting wise, like I said, Troy Baker and stuff, but really for me, it was just like I wanted to, when I would look up like voice actors on YouTube, sometimes on the YouTube thumbnails it would show all the characters in the background, like it would be a compilation of everything in the characters. And I noticed specifically with Black voice actors that it was always Black characters in the background, but for everyone else it was a little bit more diverse. And I was like, I want to kind of try to break that mold. And I don't know if I have, I don't know if I will, but that was kind of my motivation. It's like I want to voice characters because I'm really good. I don't want to voice specific types of characters because of the color of my skin. So that was my goal. But overall, in terms of like performances, Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, Miley Flanagan, Tara Strong, they were like definitely people I look up to, still look up to.
Yeah, Laura Bailey was a big one for me. when I watched the Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 Conquer Shambhala movie, they had a commentary track, and Laura Bailey was talking about her process on, like, you know, how she was auditioning for Lust, and I thought, oh, you're just doing a sexy voice, right? But, you know, she's going into, like, oh, what is her motivation? Like, she came from this, blah, blah, and I'm like, oh, wow, that's so interesting, and that was just the beginning of all this for me, so, yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. We are going to be going back to our tables to sign for the last hour. If anybody wants to go and get an autograph, feels like walking in the cold, we'll be there. So come and see us. But if not, thank you for coming. Appreciate you guys.